and it's not as aggressive as the classic clay bar. But that would basically be used to smooth out a surface, pull any kind of decontaminants, any kind of contaminants off of the surface. So if it doesn't need it, basically what that clay bar will do is if you rub it on there too much, it's just going to add a little bit of scratching and swirling in there. So if you don't have any kind of roughness to the surface, clay bar is not really a product that you need.
Is the clay towel or throwaway towel? You use it once and throw it out?
You can use it a couple of times.
Just
you want to keep it on.
Down.
So yeah, you wet it down, you rinse it off after every couple panels. You want to make sure there's nothing kind of sticking to the surface of it you're going to scratch the vehicle with. So it's usually, I think we usually get through maybe 3 cars, and after that it's kind of like, some stuff gets really stuck in the clay and you don't really want to use it anymore. So typically it's, probably about 3 cars worth of, uses. So,
Any of these products toxic that you need to be careful with?
Not toxic, no. I mean, you keep, as far as the cut, or there's no fumes. It does powder up a little bit.
Okay.
But actually, this product is one of the, cleaner products. It doesn't. The wool pad breaks apart a little bit, but the actual product, as you can see, the Menzerna product kind of breaks down into a fine. So what it does is the Menzerna products start as a heavier grit, and then they work down into a smaller, finer powder. So even with a heavy compound, you don't see the same kind of polygram you do as you do with some body shops or some dealerships. They use Menzerna specifically designed to kind of break down as it heats up. So as you work the product in, it creates a smaller, finer swirl, finer hologram. So what you'll see here, and once you kind of get through this door, you'll see a light hologram, which is typical with the heavier compound, but usually you see a really heavy hologram on a heavier compound.
Do you typically do about 1 square foot at a time?
Yeah, they'll just kind of, you can kind of, the product, depending on how much product you use, you don't want to use too much at the same time, but typically you're going to do about as much as you're doing. It's kind of a tedious process, but you get through it.
And you put the product on the paint, you don't put it on the pad.
You can prime the pad a little bit. You prime the pad with a little bit of the product, and then you can basically, as you go, panel by panel, piece by piece, it's a little bit easier to put it on the paint because you kind of visualize, here's my area.
Okay.
Here's the amount of product I need.
Okay.
I'll grab a bottle of it too. Marcus, will you grab that?
And this picture's breaking up. We had breakfast and coffee this morning for everybody here at Arizona Region Porsche Club of America. Here's everybody's swap meet tables, but they're all inside watching the detail clinic right now. So, and this is in the air park up in North Scottsdale, near the airport, 74th Street, 15015 North 74th Street in Scottsdale. Indy Motorsport, that's one of the best racetracks in Arizona. So obviously they do work for cars that go around that track, and they also do storage, I believe, rehab of automobiles.
All over town.
Members, so probably 1,000 AZPCA members.
That typically works in the compound a little bit better, a little bit more aggressive, and that's why you're going to get that light hologram. And then what we work through after that, it's called it's a DA, so dual action. And technology nowadays, have you ever seen like a porter table? The real kind of slow orbiter? Well, what these are from a brand called Ruby, and they're basically a high speed, a little bit more aggressive orbital. It can do a little bit more work than an orbital can. Whereas like with an orbital kind of bogs down, if you use it, kind of bogs down a little bit. These ones actually have a heavier motor that helps work the product in a lot better, and it's a dual action. So what the benefit of that is, you're pulling, swirling, but you're not leaving a hologram in the thing. So